because you can make bad decisions if you start a little bit of fear starts to creep in. And then I'll take it to the next level.
Yep.
Is you've created your portfolio and you think you're not doing another one, and we might just squeeze another one in, but then you get, how do you retire all of that? Do you know, I've had so many people come to me going, the accountant told me to buy 6 properties, and how do I retire now? I've got 6 properties.
You're listening to Property Investor Tales, stories from the front yard.
Hello and welcome to Property Investor Tales, stories from the front yard, where I get to speak to property investors from around Australia about their investing journey. My name's Tabitha Bright and I'm the head of advising here at Positive Real Estate, where we help people build wealth through property. With over 8,000 clients, I think we're actually closer to 10,000 now, across Australia and New Zealand, there are some incredible stories to tell, which hopefully make your investing journey that little bit easier and will inspire you along the way. So my guest today is one of our senior coaches, Carolyn Weston, and we talk about what it means to be part of our program and what helps clients succeed the most on their journey to property investing. Enjoy this conversation with Carolyn. Hey everybody, and welcome to the podcast. As you guys know, my name's Tabitha Bright and I'm here with one of our senior coaching team, the fabulous Carolyn Weston. We actually call her, and she's going to hate me saying this, the goals goddess. You can watch her face. And we call her this because Carolyn has been in the coaching seat for over 16 years. Her and I have worked alongside each other for all that time, so we know each other really well, what works, what doesn't. and we've both coached quite a number of clients over that time. Carolyn's been investing for over 20 years and she's coached over 900 clients. So when you're doing something like this on a regular basis for a long period of time with lots and lots of people, like Tony Robbins says, Anthony Robbins, you start to see commonalities, you start to see patterns, and even though we're all, unique little flowers or however you want to phrase it, we're also all very similar in that we have fears, we have stuff around money, we have dreams and aspirations, and we have stuff that gets in the way, life. And sometimes those things are things we control and sometimes they're things out of our control. So I brought Carolyn along today because I wanted to get her feedback on, over all her years of coaching and investing herself, what are the things that she sees that makes people successful. So I'll stop yabbering on and say, Carolyn, welcome to the podcast. Super pleased to have you here.
Thank you for having me, Tab. Thank you for sharing your little nickname with me. That's great. I will actually wear that with a badge of honor. I love taking clients from, they're here, they want to be here. How do we make what they've got in the very beginning become what they want in the time frame? And there's so many different patterns that we see that create success along the way. So yeah. I do wear that with a badge of honor. I'm very good in that respect. And all of our team is extremely good in that respect because that's what Positive's all about. It's not just about a transaction coming in and buying a property. It's the journey that we go on as well. Where do I start? There's lots of things that I've noticed. I'll talk about the industry for 2 seconds.
Yeah,
please. I've noticed, when I first started coaching, and you'd be the same, Tab. There was, a handful of people claiming I'm going to teach you. Nowadays, the biggest thing that I've seen, especially since COVID, there are, I call them pop-ups, and that's terribly disrespectful in some cases, but there's lots and lots and lots of people coming in saying they're going to do all these different things. What I experience in people coming to me and investigating what we do and how, who are you and how are you going to help me, I'm really seeing a massive shift in confusion. People are just overwhelmed. They don't know whether they're, somebody's saying, oh, you've got to flip, you've got to develop, you've got to buy all positive cash flow, you don't do negative gearing. Now we're going to renovate. There's so much information out there now, and Google's a wonderful thing, but I think it's causing a lot of fear and confusion in the industry, and people are looking for the same thing as they were all those years ago. It's just more confusing is what I'm seeing now. And even when they come into the program, there's a lot of work, a lot of information and education that people are looking for now, more so than they were years ago. Now they want to be informed. They want to know how to do it. Don't just tell me, I'll buy a property. I always say to my clients, never cross your fingers and hope someone gets it right. The most important thing and what creates the most success is when that person takes responsibility for it. So, asking questions, you'll get all different levels of personalities. And I know, Tab, you and I have done a lot of Tony Robbins that studies people's behaviour and, how do they get out of their own way and all of that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm really noticing the people that get the success are the people that take the time to learn about it and feel comfortable and confident. There's lots of things in that I can tell you, but overall, I'm noticing a shift in what's the noise that's out there, and people are having a hard time finding out who do I even trust out there in the market.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because the feedback I'm hearing from the team is, in our team, I'll just be really clear about a couple of things. So we have a team of 12 coaches, and for the Positive Lifetime Mentoring Program, we have 12 coaches, and half of that team have been with myself and Carolyn for anywhere between 8 to 16 years. And so they have a very deep understanding of coaching people and coaching people to an investment goal. The rest of the team all vary between sort of 3 to 5 years roughly. Then what the feedback from the team is that there's a lot of people out there, a lot of groups, a lot of claims being made that people do what Positive Real Estate do. And I'd really like to address that because I believe that there are some spurious claims around doing what we do. Positive Real Estate's been in the business of coaching people to an investment goal for over 20 years now. And Carolyn, I'd love you to walk me through, what is a client's journey when they first start mentoring? So they sit down with a coach, they decide, /advisor, they decide to join our program, and we have a lifetime mentoring. We call it our portfolio building program, because it teaches you not just to buy your next property, but to actually build a portfolio to hit whatever goal it is that it's important to you. And we'll talk more about the goals in a second. So Carolyn, when somebody joins the program, let's say I'm really time poor. Let's say I don't want to spend hours and hours because I've got 3 kids. They've all got to be at different sports events. My weekends are busy. I'm barely seeing my husband or partner. I've got a stressful job, but I know I have to do something to change my financial outcome in the future. What would you say to somebody like that decides to join Positive Real Estate? Does it have to be overwhelming and totally time consuming?
No, everybody is different. Personalities are different, time frame, what they've got, the time that they've got to put into it is different. Their enthusiasm, their willingness to, some people want to know everything. They love the information. Knock yourself out. Sam and his team provide all of the data, the spreadsheets, the information to make those better decisions. Some people will come in and say, oh, I haven't got time for that. Just tell me where to buy a good property.
Yeah.
But to be completely frank, that makes me very nervous when someone just trusts you to make, say, oh yes, go and buy here. When you're time poor, everybody's time poor in different levels. Some people want to know the information, some people don't. Our role is to take them through I'll say 4 steps, if that's the right way to put it. I'll bring it back to basics.
Yep.
We identify the goal. What are you trying to achieve? What's important to that client? So we actually spend a lot of time getting to understand what they want out of it, short term and long term.
Yep.
So goal setting is not just, oh, I want 10 red Ferraris tomorrow. That's not goal setting. It's working out what is important to them. And a very good question that I sometimes ask is, different way to put it, if you and I were sitting here in, let's say, 12 months' time, what would you be happy to have achieved? Now, that's a really powerful question, because they go, oh, wow, right, in 12 months' time. And then we say maybe 5 years' time or 10 years' time. So you've got to start with the why. So a person comes into the program, we do a little bit of a goal setting exercise, and we spend a little bit of time understanding what is important to them and what they're trying to get out of it. There will be all different levels of personalities in that. I want holidays, I want, new cars, I want to pay off the house. So it'll just blurt out. And then some people don't know how to do it at all, which is, cool, because we can help them through that. But starting with the goal is the most important thing. Then we say, well, that's all very well. That's what you want. We've got to go through the finance. So we would introduce you to our finance specialist. Very different to on the street. We're very creative. We think outside the square. It's not about, and I think this is the word I come back to all the time, it's not a transaction. We're not a transactional company, in my opinion. It is, we are there for the long haul. It's not just, if you go to a finance broker or a bank off the street, it's, can I have the money? Yes or no? It's a yes or no question. And what's the interest rate? That's really all a person on the street would ask. Well, that's going to produce the quality of your question produces a certain quality of an answer. They've no thought for what's going into the future. How do we structure the loan back here to get the result into the future? So finance, I would say, is one of the biggest challenges, but it's one of the biggest success, to the longer picture. And most clients will come in and say, oh, I just want to start with one, but my bigger picture plan, and our job is to get them to realize how many you actually need to get the result that they want in the time frame. So the second thing is the finance.
Well, before you move on, I'll just stop you there, because I just want to pick this apart a little bit for everybody so they get the lesson, because you've got so much information. So when we do the goals, we put a financial number next to it. So when you do the goals, you're not just left to come up with some random stuff by yourself. There's a process we ask you to go through, your be, do, haves, your other bits and pieces, and then the coach will sit with you. And when we're doing our goals, we're looking for, are there any conflicting goals? Are there challenges to coaching? Are there some preconceived ideas that you've got about stuff that we're going to have to unpack and work through in order to help you be successful? So the goal setting, it's not as simple as just, I want to retire in 15 years' time on 100K or 150K per annum. And if it is that simple, that's awesome. But Carolyn and the team will put a number on it. They'll help you work out your number. And once we know that number, that then determines, we work backwards from there, and that then determines how many properties you're going to need based on what rental income they're going to bring in, and based on getting them debt free. And so the team work out all those numbers based on your goals. So what the goals are is essentially, think of them as a target, because in order for you to be successful, we need to be able to measure your success. So we are looking in your goals for something measurable, because then we can start ticking some of this off. And some of it will be big picture stuff, and some of it will be small stuff, like Carolyn was saying. What would success look like for you for 12 months, 5 years, 10 years plus? Because what she's working out in the background is, right, how do I help this client succeed for what success means to them? It's not about what we think, it's about what success means for you. And so even this process is so underrated and undervalued, because we help you define what it is you need and what it is you're looking for, because sometimes people don't even know what they need and sometimes they don't even know what they want. Would that be true, Carolyn?
I would actually say most people struggle with the goals. And I always say,
Yep.
if it's a couple, I would say, print it out if you like, go into separate rooms, go and
Yep.
write it down. I jokingly say I'm not a marriage guidance counsellor, so you have to bring me one copy back. So, because, that can bring up all sorts of things. Oh, is that what you want? Yeah, great. So and some of that is just kind of, oh, that'd be nice. But if some people will write down, I just want to learn for the next 6 months. I just want to feel comfortable, because there's a lot of
Yeah.
fear out there. Before we even get to the strategy and the property purchase, you don't come into the program and buy a property tomorrow. That's not how it works. It's more important that you're understanding what we're trying to what you want to achieve as a person. That we're not kind of running off in this direction and you're going in this direction and we're going, oh, wow, no one's aligned. It's really important that we're all working as a team. And that includes, all your other team. You might already have an accountant. You might already have part of your team already there.
Yeah.
It's not for us to come in and just turn everything upside down.
Yeah.
It's to come and work and enhance what you're already doing.
Yeah.
So, I'll say, and I think we talked about this the other day, Tab, what people think they need and they come to the program for is often not what they actually do really need or get out of the program. So I remember going to a toning event thinking I needed something and come away with something completely different. This is very similar to that in that respect.
And then there are people that are highly driven. Like, you do get people that are very, very driven, and they know what they want, and they are clear, and they do want to come in and buy a property tomorrow. So if the checks and balances all tick off, they can get finance, they understand what they're doing, they're comfortable with the process, and they're ready to go because they have done a whole lot of research before, or that's just their personality. We can accommodate that as well. So
what's really important is it's not a cookie cutter. Positive real estate is very different to anyone. No one else does what we do to this extent. What have we got, like 10,000 clients or something doing multiple transactions? It's no one does what we do to this extent. So there's no cookie cutter, do this and you'll be rich. You can't pick up a book and go, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to get rich. It doesn't work that way, because everyone's position and personality is different. I've got particularly, maybe dentists and doctors that come in and say, oh, I just do not have time for this.
Yeah.
Tell me the basics, tell me the dot points, tell me why I should be buying this. This is what I want. This is my goal. And it's really as simple as we do all of that work for them. We work out their strategy, what type of property, and sometimes in what order, because that's going to change the financeability. So there's lots of strategy, and that brings me to that third section, goals, finance, and strategy. There's a lot of work that we do in the background to make sure that person's going to get, the best chance of getting the outcome that they would like.
Yeah.
And yes, they will just bring it all to me, hand it on a platter, 50 pages of due diligence.
Yeah.
Just give me dot points and off we go. So there's different levels, different personalities that will want different levels of information in that respect. But anyone can go and get, I'll call it a buyer's agency service, where I call it a transactional service. They buy one, they're gone. And that makes me uncomfortable in this respect, that you're paying an awful lot of money for that service, but by the time that person has figured out that property's not performing or, not doing what they thought, they're gone. There's no accountability in the industry in that respect. And that's where I believe we stand out. That accountability, and it's not a transactional thing. I love repeat business. I love getting my clients. It's like a win-win, because if they're getting the result, we will get them to the second and the third, and et cetera, et cetera. So we do pay a lot of attention to the strategy so they can keep moving forward. Yes.
And what that can look like, and I'll go back one step before I address the strategy stuff. So we get clients from all walks of life. My youngest client was 18. My oldest client would be in their 60s. Everyone's got a different outcome. For the 60-year-old plus, they were looking for support for their children and to educate their adult children, because our lifetime mentoring program includes adult children for free. So they get coaching. Excuse me, I'm going to get a tickle in my throat. My highest net worth client earns $150,000 a month. But I also have clients that have had to be part of the program. One client took 5 years to be able to purchase their first property because they'd come out of a really difficult divorce. Sorry, I'm going to get a tickle in my throat. I'll get you to talk. But there's all levels of people, and just because you may not be ready now in your head, I would say still please talk to the coach. Sorry about this. It's hay fever. It's right in my I'm like back of my throat. It'll pass in a second. Yeah.
I've got clients that have come in, and I had one client that was doing a company like My Budget. They were not in control of their budget. So one of the first things we do is look at their spending. That's part of their strategy. How do we improve their position to, get in a position to be able to have more than one bank choice? That's the sort of things. There's a million things that we can share, but you go
back and forwards with the broker, don't you? Like, you work with the finance specialist. You'll go back and forwards. You'll pull all the levers, like paying off debt, getting an increase in income, moving in with the parents. Yeah.
I use that Quickly program that all the brokers, the bigger brokers these days have. I use it as a training tool, as an exercise to say, okay, we're really tight. There's no doors open right now. What if we change, you earn 10 grand more? What if you save 10 grand more? What if you closed a credit card? All these different things. Yep. And we sit down and strategize. That's in the strategy as well, to say, how do we, and it doesn't have to be someone that's struggling and to buy their first. That's relevant, of course, but it can be someone that's trying to get just to a different price point, to get access to different, inner rings instead of outer rings, coming to getting to a townhouse price point versus a unit price point. There can be all these little increments, and we'll our team will come up with a really, really cool deal, that's out of the box, and people will be like swamping us. How do I do that? And we have to say, well, you can't do it right now, calmly. You can't do it right now.
Yeah. But there's always another deal. Yeah.
Yeah. How do we get you into that position? That's a really good, there's always another deal. That's part of our coaching. There is always, in our world, there's always a good deal. And I don't like them calling them deals. There's always a good opportunity coming through in the finding good property. That's a clever part, but it's not the part. The clever part is the finance, the structure, the planning, the strategy. Getting all your ducks in a row early, back here, not being in too much of a rush. A lot of people, yes, people in a good position can come and buy tomorrow. That's perfectly fine. But the majority of people needed that little bit of a planning early on, so doors will open up later. And sometimes it's not just about that one, it's about planning for number 2, 3, 4 into the future. So a lot of work goes on in the background. Yeah, I love it. I love it. Oh, there's a challenge. How do we get around the challenges that are there? So
because it's not only people paying for buyers agencies. I know that some of the feedback we get is that people do what we do for free or for less than what we charge, and once again I just come back and say that they're not doing what we do. They're going through some of the motions, but they're not doing what we do, and we know that from the people that do join, that have worked with other groups.
It is so hard to get that message across in this digital world. When we did it face to face, it was a little bit easier to sit down and really have that lovely conversation. It's getting harder and harder because there's so much noise, like I said before.
There's a lot of noise.
How do you actually compare? I would always say to someone, if that person's the coach is going to give you more time, if they're really asking you, paying attention to what's important to you, not just a transactional cookie cutter kind of service, if they're willing to give you another appointment because you've still got questions,
Yeah.
what is the accreditation of that person? What have they done personally? You know, how
Are
many
they an
clients
investor?
have they helped? Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
How long have they been doing it?
Yeah.
What's their experience? How big is the company?
Yeah.
Because we get access to, off-market opportunities for
Yeah.
properties.
But also all the
So,
research and the data, like
absolutely.
Oxford Economics, RP data, like, you know, you name it. Sammy's one of the top
Yeah.
economists out there. We get all the big guys in. But even outside of that, it's we're looking, now that we're through the whole COVID schmozzle, we can sort of put that in yesteryear for the most part. We're looking at bringing back a lot of our live events. So we have networking opportunities. You get to meet and have community with other investors. We do our property summit. We have our program for people that want to progress to the next level. So once you're through your acquisitions phase, there's a whole new level of structuring yourself, planning for retirement. We call this the exit plan, and it's phenomenal. And that's when we pull in the financial planners and we do high level strategy on maximizing your cash flow in retirement and paying legally minimizing your tax as much as possible so that you have a fantastic result. And the feedback we've had from that next level is just off the charts. You have bus tours, and sometimes people hear the word bus tour and they think, oh my God, I'm going to be put on a bus, we're going to be forced to sign a contract. It's not about that, guys, is it? It's, you get to spend a day with Sam Saggers, there's 40 maybe of you on the bus. He talks you through the economics of the market. He shows you deals that we choose to turn down versus deals that we choose to put forward to our clients. And so you get to understand the machinations of what is a good deal, because we discard probably 80% of the deals that are put under our noses as a company. Positive Real Estate has a very good name in the market, and a lot of builders, developers are wanting us to have their stock and for us to help assist them. And it's like, well, no, guys, like, what's in it for our clients?
It's
What's
even down to
your...
terms and conditions
Yeah,
in contracts. We it can be a great deal, but they're not going to get, because obviously the contracts are drawn up to protect the seller, not the buyer. So sometimes we will reject for things like that because it doesn't protect our clients. So there's lots that
correct.
goes into it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have a full contracts team. Our head of contracts, Lila Garney, is just an absolute rock star, isn't she? Like, she goes, like...
I call her the gatekeeper. Nothing gets past the gatekeeper. She keeps our clients so protected. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Nothing gets past Lila. She's amazing.
Yeah, I call her my sister from another mister. She's the yin to my yang. She's just phenomenal, and she really goes hard on the developers to make sure that any deals that we have for our clients are in any of the contracts are in our clients' best interests. And I think this is really unique in the market. And there's this misconception that we only do off the plan apartments, and that you couldn't get further from the truth. To be transparent for you guys, our acquisitions team is tasked with a 30-30-30 split. So 30% existing, 30% off the plan. So that can be townhouses and houses and apartments, and also house and land. So there's a whole gamut of stuff. That's 30-30-30. Yes, please.
Yeah,
Yep.
the
I'm
reason
so
for that.
excited.
The reason for that is when we're coaching, when the coaches are sitting down with their clients, everyone's in a different position, everyone has a different ability. So when you're looking at
Different
strategy
price point.
planning,
Yeah.
we want different price points. So it might be 500,000, it might be 2 mil. Diversification across different locations, different types of product. So they actually would like to have, something available that whatever we are going to come up with, we're working with that client, that is going to be, they're going to have something that can match that, because that's the service that we provide to the clients. And it can be existing, like ready within the next couple of months. It can be ready within the next 12 months, or it can be ready off the plan.
Yeah.
There is no right or wrong. It is what that client, we can show you how that, how that looks, and how it, draw a timeline and, put it all down in a strategy. But if the client absolutely hates 1-bedroom apartments and I never want to do an off the plan in my entire life because they've had a bad experience, well, we're not going to do that. It's not about, oh, this is what we do, you have to fall in line. It's actually tailored to each specific client. Yeah, but we've got lots of choice in that respect. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is part of what I love about positive real estate. And then there's access to joint ventures. There's all sorts of stuff that clients have as options to build and create wealth for themselves. So it comes back to that. What is your target? What is your goal? So if you need, let's say, $3 million worth of property to create an income of $150,000 in retirement, or for financial freedom. I hate that word, retirement. I think you and I are allergic to it, Carolyn, because we're still here. Then how do we make up that $3 million? How do we get you to $3 million worth of property? What is the price that you're comfortable purchasing at? Is it 6 million? Sorry, 6 million. Is it 600,000? Or is it $1 million? Are you going to buy 3 properties? Or are you going to buy 5? And all of this is determined when you're working through your comfort zone, your financial capacity, and your goals and everything else that you'll go through. And your coach steps you through it every step of the way. One thing that I think is worth talking about, Carolyn, is once a client completes a property deal, so say I was your client and I do my first property deal, then in order to get the next one, we just don't carry on with the strategy, do we? We go back to the drawing board. So explain that.
A very big difference also is it's not like it's we're still there. We're not gone when you've settled the property. Like a real estate agent would be gone, or a buyer's agency, they're gone.
Yeah.
We're still here. We're here to help and hold your hand and give you advice and education on how to get a good property manager, the insurance, the depreciation schedules, all of the things that come after that, and then the future. And then you've got to understand your accounts that have been set up, your finance. How do you manage those accounts? Do we have offset accounts? Have we transferred the money into the right accounts? Sometimes what I hear from clients when they join, it's like, oh, they set that up and I didn't have a clue. And, 6 months down the track, they've bothered to ask the question because now they're in trouble.
True.
They're going, oh my God, I should have, I didn't know that I had to do that.
Yeah.
So having a full-time coach means you've got access to the answers at any given time. And let me be really clear, I'm not ever going to tell you that I know all the answers, but I know where to go and get the answers because I've got a fabulous team behind me. So it's not just a transaction and we're gone. It's all of those things. And then we sit down. You might have a little breather. You might have a couple of months where you take your breath, get an understanding. The tenant's now in. Most people will come back and go, right, what's next? How do we get the next one? But we have already had that discussion when we planned the first one. However, let me be really clear as well, there's so many things in this industry we don't control. So what that means is we don't control interest rates or government decisions or COVID viruses that locked Melbourne down for, a couple of years. All of these things, so all of our education, which the team presents every fortnight, the team does all these recordings, everything's stored on a portal. You've got access to all of that from day one. But that is all ever changing. It's not like when you write a book, 5 minutes later, when that's gone to print, it's now out of date. This is an ongoing education that is keeping up to date. And this is why Sam pays so much money to have access to Oxford Economics and Core Logic and whatever, all those other ones that he gets access to, because the data is always changing. every quarter almost. We have Dr. Andrew Wilson come in, give us his economic updates. Oh my God, that one will blow your mind. If you love charts and graphs in detail, that is sensational. If you don't, just come and talk to your coach. I'll just abbreviate it for you. But there's all different levels of learning and access to information in that respect. We start that planning right from the beginning, and we don't go away. We're still there. We're still now, how do we get the next? Can I share a funny story about a client?
Yes.
And he's just in my vision as I'm saying this. I won't use his name. He'll know if he watches this. He's planned. He's got lots of properties already, and the next one was to put down a deposit nice and early, secured it at today's price, and mind you don't start here. This is kind of a long-term plan here. And he's got one that's going to settle in 2.5 years' time.
Yes.
Well, we didn't even get 6 months down the track. Right. What can I do in between? Well, hang on a minute. Let's go back. We'll reassess. We'll have a look at your numbers. He had gone so much out of his way to earn extra income, but it wasn't enough to do another one. And I kept saying to him, we're going to have to change this, and we go back to the finance team, and he pushes me. Usually it's me pushing a client, but gently, with love. He pushes me every 5 minutes. Now, he has probably got, half of his portfolio he shouldn't have if he just sat there and goes, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to chill, and then I'm going to do this. He asks the most amazing questions, very good quality questions, starting with the word how. Not can I do this, and you get a yes or no answer.
Yeah.
Can I have the money, yes or no?
Yeah.
Can I do this? No. I would have said no 100 times over. But he asks, starting with the word how. How do I do it? And sometimes my work colleague Amanda and I, who knows this client, we've had him for over 10 years, we go, oh my gosh, and we refer to the finance person. She goes, oh my gosh, what does he want to do now? Right, we are the voice of reason. Here's the driving force, the go, go, go. I love that personality. However, we're the ones that are calm, factual data, making sure that he's safe. Yeah, you can do that, but here's the risks. So he commits to saving a certain amount, to increase his income, to change different things. It's really an interesting scenario, the different personalities that you have. But I take my hat off to him, the right questions, and don't just sit on your hands, because the market is moving away from you. It will just keep moving. It won't wait for you. So I would just say,
you can't save yourself wealthy, can you? But then I have, and then I have the opposite type of client. I've got one client who I meet with every 3 months. And he's been with me since about 2012, I think. And he's not buying any more property, but that doesn't mean the lifetime program stops for him. He has access to us for his lifetime, and his adult children can come, etc., like I was saying before. But for him, I meet with him every 3 months, and we go through his entire portfolio. Because the market has been moving so fast, rents have been going crazy, property prices have been going crazy, and his situation has changed. So he needs bigger buffers just to make sure he stays nice and safe. He doesn't have the income that he did have. And so every 3 months we check in. Where are your buffers at? How much have you gone through now that interest rates have gone up a bit? I'm comfortable with where you're at the moment. Can you raise your rents? And we go through and we look at the rents and we check RP data. We get them and even though the market doesn't necessarily, it's not trackable to that level. Property market's a big picture beast. It's still just really good for him to get his head around where he's at and to feel safe. He is absolutely safe. There is, worst case scenario, we'd sell one property and pay down some debt. But if I can keep him in the market with that property while the market has so much pressure on him, then he's able to manage himself mentally. When if he was left to his own devices, he might find that quite hard, knowing, oh, geez, should I have sold? What if interest rates go up again, and we just track and give ourselves plenty of time. So sometimes you get your go-getters like Carolyn was talking about, and sometimes it's providing safety net and peace of mind for clients. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. And that meeting, meeting your coach, ongoing, just because
Yeah.
you're not purchasing doesn't mean, in fact, the people that meet or go to the mentoring events, that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing, because it keeps their mind educated. They're up with what's going on, instead of because you can make bad decisions if you start a little bit of fear starts to creep in. And then I'll take it to the next level
Yeah.
is, you've created your portfolio and you think you're not doing another one, and we might just squeeze another one in, but then you get, how do you retire all of that? Do you know, I've had so many people come to me going, the accountant told me to buy 6 properties, and how do I retire now? I've got 6 properties. But what are they doing for you? It's not how many properties you've got, it's what they're doing for you. And how is that going to get you retired? So the coaching goes all the way through to help you with your exit to retirement. I know you don't like that word, but giving you that choice. When do you sell? When is it now getting too old? Now you're scaling back. Do you need the tax benefit anymore? No, you're scaling back. Your property's 15 years old. Well, let's always rehash where you're at. Let's get vals. Let's do it like you said. So it just doesn't. We don't go away. We're always there.
You get to hang with us for a bit longer. Yeah.
I think you said to me right in the beginning, come and hang with the cool people. I loved it.
I don't know that we're that cool anymore.
I love it.
I have to break it to you.
Anyway,
we're too old to be cool. But
those young people are cool people now. All right, that's enough. So it's a journey, not just to buy a property. It's a journey to lay down your wealth. Then how do we actually turn that into retirement and buying the time back, and also paying off your own home, all of the different, going on holidays, whatever
maximising your tax deductions, all of that stuff, and still having a life. One of the things that I teach when I'm teaching the coaches, so when we have new coaches and advisors coming on, and I use Carolyn and some of the other senior coaches in this space to also teach and educate our newer coaches. And one of the things I always say is that this is not about what I value. I have had clients say to me, I want to buy an investment property today, but then I'm going to have to pause it for a couple of years because I've got to spend 50 grand on a wedding. And the wedding's really important to me. And I know if I spend this much on a deposit today, I can get a property. But then after that, all my savings have to go to my wedding. Or it might even be the other way around. I've got to get married first. But then how do I get into the property market? And I'll just use that as one example. So often we have conflicting goals for people. And so we don't put our value set on that and say, well, you can't do that or you shouldn't do that. Like, it's not about making you feel that your decisions are wrong. What we do is we talk you through what I call the upside and the trade-off. So you need to understand what your trade-off is with the decisions you make. But ultimately, it's your life, it's your goals. So you choose your trade-off. We're just there to educate you and make sure that you're making conscious choices and you will understand the impact of any of your choices, because it's, I get people saying, I don't want to change my lifestyle. I have two thoughts to that. One, I think it's really important to be clear on what you're passionate about and where you're going to spend your income. And then the other thing, and so you're not just frittering away mindlessly. And then the other thing I'd say to that is that if you want a result that's outside the norm, you do have to decide that you're going to do stuff that is outside the norm. And sometimes that might mean having a budget and being very deliberate. Sometimes for some people that are on higher incomes, it doesn't change much at all. But for some people, it does mean that they forego some other stuff by choice. But once again, we don't tell you that you have to live on beans and rice. There's there's choices that you will make based on your values. Yeah. So back
Do
to you,
option
Carolyn.
A, option B, option C. I will say, well, if you do it this way, this is what I've got no emotion in it. They
Yeah.
can overlay their own emotion and
Yeah.
they, I can go, well, this is what you can
Yeah.
borrow if you do it this way.
Yeah.
What if we do it this way? That might open another door. Or what if we do it
Yeah.
this way? And sometimes you'll get one party in the couple.
Yeah.
Honey, I don't want to change my lifestyle. I still want to go out and buy my, whatever. And
Yeah. You
you go
can't
and
get
do
that
whatever
new car.
you go and do whatever you want, but don't interrupt what. Now, I can't say that that's right, wrong, or indifferent. I can just show you if that, and I'll just make up an example. If that person went and did 2 extra hours a week work, that would open another door. But whether that person does that or not, that's not in my control.
Yeah.
It's really powerful knowing the difference, because sometimes they can just have it in their head. Writing it down, seeing it in black and white really makes the difference in moving people forward. We've got loads of stuff that we do with the clients like that they go, oh, I didn't realize that. Wow, that's a great. Oh, I get what you're saying. I love it when they say that. Oh, I get what you're saying. When that little light bulb goes off.
Yeah.
And that's why I do my job. It's that adrenaline and that satisfaction that person's getting, the rush out of it. They're so excited to can I have another one like that? How did that person do that? Or watch something. Oh, can I do that? And that's what makes it, worthwhile in my day, is to enjoy that journey with them. I've just had one of my early clients, probably what was that, 15 odd years ago, retired, traveling around Australia. They've had their caravan parked in my driveway for the last few weeks. They wanted to come and share everything with me to say thank you for being part of the journey. I can't
That's
take
amazing.
all the credit for anything, in that respect, but it's so nice when you get that, and they've become really good friends. And as a lot of my early Tasmania people have done, they're now retiring and traveling around Australia in a caravan. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll all call in at some point.
Oh, that's fabulous. And then just to highlight too what's included in the program, I mean, there's all the one-on-one coaching, and that is lifetime. So, it is the one-off cost, and then you've got people like Carolyn and your team for a lifetime. We have our 6-star team that covers financial advisors, finance specialists, accounting, you name it, property management, property deals, all of that stuff is at your fingertips. So the experts are there. Every fortnight we do what we call our live mentoring. So there's a different topic. It's education, there's property deals, there's speakers, and it's all recorded. If you can't make it, or you just are interested in one particular session, it's uploaded on the library. There's coffee clubs we're going to be rolling out, which are going to be face-to-face meetings where a coach hosts it, and you come and bring all your questions. You get to network with like-minded investors. There's the property summit once a year, which gets all the clients together, and they do a weekend of just fantastic education, and it's awesome, isn't it?
The property game, that's mine.
Yeah, the property game. Yeah, you can you play this game. It's like Monopoly on a grand scale. Everyone gets really competitive. What else is there, Carolyn?
There's too much to even say in 5 minutes.
Bus tours. I knew there was something else. Bus tours. There's property events. There's all sorts of stuff. And you choose what you tap into. And, like Carolyn was saying, if you're busy, I've had clients that, they're in the middle of their career, they're busy, and they'll meet with me once every 6 months and check in and do something. Other people immerse themselves, don't they? And they're there for everything, which is fantastic. It's you choose your journey.
And you can come in, be active, you can chill, you can go and have a year off, you can come back. It's not like you have to be, there every 5 minutes. So it's quite flexible in that respect, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll just close by saying that, you get to see people's journeys. Carolyn and I are seeing people now that have been with Positive Real Estate for over 15 years, and there's so much power in people that stay the property journey, isn't there? Because the results come after you get results, you get the 10, 20, 30% of the market delivering results, and then you get the power of the market behind you over 10, 15 years. And that's when people really start to have financial choices, and they've got their houses paid off, they've got, they're able to sell down a couple of investment properties and pay down debt, and then they've got all the rental income. They might have maximised their super. There's all sorts of stuff that people have done over that time, and we're seeing some amazing results now. Yeah. Anything else you'd want to add about success for people listening today?
We've covered nearly everything that we do. We're open to discussions, and anyone can contact us to, if you've got your story and you would like to share your story with us. If you're watching this podcast, feel free to, reach out. They'll probably put a link or something somewhere. There's a number of us that, we're happy to sit down and listen to your story. We can help you identify any gaps. This is what you want. This is where you're at now. Where are the gaps? Help you identify. Like, some people don't even know, that they're in a certain position, or they haven't even thought about it before.
Yeah.
Most people are nervous, and we are there to help answer those questions so you can feel confident about moving forward. And have that team that is there all the time. So, happy to hear your story if you would like us to.
Sounds good. And I think the biggest thing that holds people back would be fear. Fear of making a mistake, fear of, buying the wrong property, all of that kind of stuff. Have a think about what's stopping you, why you haven't taken action. For anyone that is a mentoring client that is watching this, if you do have some fear, or you have some concerns, or you have some challenges, make sure you reach out. The team are here to support you. It's what we do. It's really our secret.
Fear is just lack of knowledge. That's all it is. Fear is lack of understanding, lack of education, lack of knowledge. That's where you're at. If you're an existing client, you have it all at your beck and call. If you're not even sure who your coach is, you haven't talked to us for 10 years, just reach out. We will help you.
Fantastic.
Sure.
Awesome. Well, I think thank you. I thought that was valuable just to go through the program in its detail, and of course we're led by our fearless leaders, Jason and Sam, out the front. Jason's got a lot of industry experience and knowledge, and Sam, of course, is our economist and brings on the property deals. So lots of good stuff from those guys too. So it's been great having you on today. Thank you, Carolyn.
Thank you, Tab. Hope I was helpful.
Yeah, no, you're really helpful. Thanks, team. And don't hesitate to reach out. We'll make sure that there's a link that is put in the comments section, no doubt, for this podcast. Thanks, folks. Bye for now. Hey, thanks for listening to Property Investor Tales. Remember to subscribe so you get notified every time a new episode drops. As you can guess, I love hearing people's property investor tales. So if you'd like to share yours, then please get in touch with me via email at propertyinvestortales@positivementor.com.au. We would also love your feedback, and I would appreciate a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Remember, you can watch all of these podcasts over on YouTube at Positive Mentor or at positivementor.com.au. Until then, take care, happy investing, and bye for now.